Nothing causes more damage to your house than water. And no, I am not opposed to indoor plumbing. This is Investing in Georgia. This is Georgia specific information. I am a licensed Georgia contractor and realtor. My contact information is in the description below if you have any questions. Let's go. Water causes a whole lot of damage, and it does it fast too. You can't live without it though, so you got to learn how to live with it and control it. If you can control the water around your house, you most likely will not have any problems with termites, rot, decay, foundation, mold, or mildew. There are 4 major ways water can damage your house. 1 is through plants and vegetation around your house. 2 is through poor ventilation. 3 is from rain, and 4 is from plumbing. Plants are one of the best things you can do to add curb appeal to your house, make it match your personality, and make it look separate from the other houses on the street. However, plants are water and wood, which is exactly what termites want. They want water and wood, and you put them right beside your house. You know what? One day, they're going to have a big old party and go next door and see what's going on at your place. So you want to keep them as far away from your house. You don't want them coming there. To answer this question about how far they should be away from your house, I consulted the foremost expert in the field. So let's go see what they have to say. How far should plants be from your house? Foundation plants should typically be placed 3 to 5 feet away from your house to allow for mature growth, proper air circulation, and maintenance access. Shrubs generally require a minimum of 2 to 3 feet, while small trees can be at least 8 to 10 feet, and large trees 15 to 20 feet away to prevent root damage, moisture retention against the foundation, and structural interference. Right. Additional reasons I don't like plants near the house. 1, they're additional maintenance. It's additional work you got to keep up with. 2, as they hinted in there, you got root damage against the foundation. That's not good. And yes, and the limbs against the side. Curb appeal. Didn't I already say curb appeal is a great part of why I like plants? However, as it hinted at earlier, was that the maturity. Most of the shrubs around the houses are like 20 to 40 years old, and they have not been properly maintained. They take away from your house, chances are. Almost all mature, older shrubs are taken away from your house unless they're very well maintained. Which brings you back to number 1. And again, there are places for animals and people to hide, and it reduces airflow around, and it eliminates the sunlight. The sunlight is a disinfectant like molds and mildews and all that type of stuff, and all kinds of other bacteria or whatever they do. So which brings me to the second way water destroys your house: poor ventilation. This time we're going to go at it from the inside. We're going to start at the top and then go down. So this is how an attic vents itself. Let's go into this. All right, here we are. This is how an attic vents itself. So you know those little vents on the other side? This is called the soffit. We've got those little vents that are in there a lot of times. The air is supposed to go up through here, go right across the bottom of your decking boards, and out through the top. This is, that little funny mohawk in the shingles on the top of your roof. This was called a ridge vent. It's to get the heat out. To the very top, you get all the heat coming out just like that. So you see the air comes out here, continues airflow going out this way. We got these what are called baffles. They keep the insulation down to where you got a flow of air right there. And let's see, I have another view as well, I think. Yeah, this is some of the other types of vents. This is those spinny ones, which win my award for the coolest looking. This is the coolest named one. These are usually called like turtle vents or turtle backs. They do the same thing. The ridge vent does best is at the very top, so it keeps everything circulating because the heat in the attic pushes it out. And this is what the side airflow. When you see the louvered thing on the side, especially like a lot of ranch house. So that's what's to get ventilation in through the side. You see the air just comes in and out and up and through, so it keeps everything. So it keeps air from getting stale and moist, and keeps everything moving. Get it on out of there. Up next is HVAC. I'm not an air conditioning guy, so all this stuff might not be exactly worded correctly, but it's generally true. Your air conditioner doesn't just keep you cool, it also dehumidifies. If you have too small of a unit, your house isn't gonna be able to be cooled enough. It's not gonna cool your house sufficiently. Or if it's too big, you're not gonna get enough air changes. So the air is gonna get too moist in there. So it's not gonna be properly and thoroughly cooled and dehumidified. So that's why they always do all those calculations to get the right size unit in there. Which brings me to the proper ducting. You also have to get all this ducted to all the proper places around the house. They have to put their central returns and get all the ducting out in a most efficient manner to make sure everything keeps circulating within the house. And as we continue down, we're going to hit the basement or crawl space. Ideally, you want a conditioned envelope around the house all the way down to the ground. I'm going to start with crawl spaces because those are some of the worst experiences of my life. And we're going to see how to make yours so it's not one of those nightmares. Encapsulation seals the airspace by connecting the vapor barrier to the structure of a house. So let's dive in and take a look at that. All right, here we are. This is an example of an encapsulated crawl space. This looks probably a lot nicer than yours, doesn't it? So what we got here, the key things are we got this vapor barrier that runs up the walls. And usually I like to try it into the actual framing, but it's not that big of a deal. This is a really clean one. You see, you got it's thicker than your average vapor barrier. It goes up the walls, and they're going to seal all the holes in there. Try to cover as much of the masonry as well. You can see, and they filled all the holes. Looks like we got some spray foam, and everything is looking pretty good here. One thing, so yeah, this will make this full a conditioned space. Now, one thing that I really like about encapsulated crawl spaces, especially if it depends on your house, you probably need to insulate the sidewalls. You can just do foam board insulation on there, and that way you create a full conditioned space down there. So you don't need, at that point you can take out the underfloor insulation. That is one of the biggest, there's so many crevices in there. It allows so many access for like little homes for bugs and stuff in there. I just find it a whole lot cleaner if you can take that out and make all that fully insulated down there from the outside. That way, you guys said that's what they call that cushion of insulated air from the ground. So additionally, if you could do that, you can also paint the wood down there to seal it and protect it as well. But if you can't afford to do that, if you just clean it out, make sure the vapor barrier is continuous across the whole bottom. You got no water getting in. You open up those air vents in the summer. You know what those air vents are? Actually, let's take a look at those. A lot of people don't know what these things really are and when you're supposed to open them. That's what these things are. Those vents on the side of your house. They're supposed to open and close. If they don't open and close, you should get them fixed because you want them closed in the winter and open in the summer. Because you want to bring in the air, just like the way your attic works. You want to get air coming in there to move it all out, and you get a moisture in there. You don't want moisture down there. We're back. Fans and dehumidifiers are good as well, and that's going to run the same thing for true in basements as well. You want to keep the air moving, get the moisture out of it. That's the key thing, is keep it dry. And the big added bonus of doing all this, HVAC creates a negative pressure by pulling in bad stuff. So when that fan turns on, it's sucking in air that's not even in the house. So it's pulling all the little cracks in your house. It's pulling air in from all those. So whether it's the attic or the crawl space, especially if you have, say, your AC unit in your crawl space and that fan turns on, it's going to be sucking a lot of that air that's in your crawl space and taking it and putting it right into your house. So you want to make sure that air is as clean and dry as possible. Next up, we got rain. You can paint a pretty picnic, but you cannot predict the weather. It's going to rain. You gotta get it away from your house as soon as possible. Far away. ASAP. Now, first thing I want to look at is the water path when I go look at a house. Any house. I look to see where the water is coming in. If you got from the roof, it's gonna, you follow it down to the gutters. Make sure your gutters are clean. Make sure your downspouts are clean. You're gonna get it away, out and away from the house. Once you get with that a few feet away, then you also want to try to look at the wider landscape to make sure it has a place to go after it gets that 2 feet away. You don't just want to get it there and have a pond. You want to have it, get it all the way away, have a path away from your house. And now we're going to go into foundations. This is the main thing that's going to be affected by the rain. So obviously you got to have a good roof on it and good, etc. So we're going to talk about erosion and hydrostatic pressure. All right. Erosion. This is dirt removal when the water actually moves dirt away. They said you clean your gutters, keep your downspouts clean, add downspout extenders or splash blocks to get it at least 2 feet away from your house. The splash blocks are those little things. Those things are about 2 feet long. They look like they're trying to get water away from your house. That's what they're supposed to do. Make sure they've sloped away from your house so they don't have that little thing sticking up at the end. You want them to get out so the water can just escape away. Actually, before I assume you know what I'm talking about, let me just make sure I show you a picture. Because you know what they say about assumptions. Yeah, this is a downspout extender right here. Look at that. Gets it nice and away from your house. It said it's going to depend on what your landscape is like to how far this needs to be. So this is a simple splash block. I think they should have, let's see if they have a bad one installed. Yeah, this is a bad one. Don't do it like that. Do it like that. Do it like that. You see how the water's flowing away? That's what you want it to look like. All right, next up, hydrostatic pressure. This is why you need to get the water as far away from your house as fast as possible. Especially with Georgia clay. The water can't go through the Georgia clay very fast, so it just sits there and weakens the soil and presses against your foundation. Because your foundation, even if it's just a small section like a pier, you're gonna have this water pressure pushing up against it. And if you have like a larger, like especially like a full basement wall, you have. Say your house is 50 foot wide. If you got water coming up in the front of your house and you got a block wall, that's like basically a dam, and you got clay and stone around you, the water can't go anywhere else. And so it just sits there and builds up pressure and pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes on your foundation wall. That is when you get those big bows in the wall and you get major failure. So we got to get it away as fast as possible so it doesn't have the chance to go down and collect there. All right, now let's go back inside and hit plumbing. So disregarding all the risks of lead and galvanized water lines, which I have done in another video, you have like 3/4 inch pipe of like 50 psi shooting water right into your house. As I said before, water would destroy things real quick, especially with regards to plumbing. It's gonna destroy your drywall, your flooring, your cabinets, your carpet and trim, etc. really fast. It's gonna cause major damage, thousands in seconds. So you want to keep an eye out for any signs of water, especially around like water fixtures, and more specifically got toilets, dishwashers, washing machines. And make sure to get those expensive metal supply lines for your washing machines. Trust me. You want to check your house for polybutylene plumbing lines. Those are the light gray ones. I have a video on that as well, how you can help find that and what you can do about that. And you also want to check for cast iron drains. They're not horrible, but they do fail. So use leak detectors. So this one has saved me more than once. You can get these leak detectors. You put them under each water fixture, and you can actually connect to the internet, and it can alert you when there's a moisture sensor gone off. Because if you get one, say for example, in your vanity or underneath your kitchen sink, those can cause major damage real fast and gets expensive. Some other tips. Whenever you go out of town, turn off your water and empty your ice maker, or anytime your house is vacant. I got a video at the end I'm going to show how much water is stored in the pipes of just a simple one bathhouse. So you can see how much water is actually stored in the pipes and how long it takes to drain. The leaking ice makers have cost me thousands of dollars in floor repairs on 2 different occasions. One of them was, especially because it was on a GFCI. A lot of times in a house, refrigerator is within 6 feet of a sink has to be on a GFCI. Especially a lot of older houses, all the GFCIs linked together. So a lot of so this will be in the the bathrooms, etc. So a lot of times someone might turn something on and have a trip the breaker, the GFCI in the bathroom, not even think about that turned off the whole unit as well, the whole circuit. So that means your refrigerator is off, and once it is off, it starts cooling, and if it just stays off for days on end, everything just melts. I also learned that they, at least the refrigerators I had, they don't have a thing built in to catch the water if it melts. No, it just goes right on your floor. And another time, it was just because we had a power outage, and it just started melting. I didn't think about it. That's how it goes. So empty those ice bins before you go. And also, one thing I've learned from that is I still love the look of wood floors in kitchens, but I will never do it again. So this whole thing was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I hope you learned something. If you did, please like, comment, share, or subscribe. If you have any questions about Georgia real estate or construction, my contact information is below in the descriptions of Investing in Georgia. I'm Alan. Thanks. And that's my dog, Treats. He's probably going to see him a lot if you watch these. And now watch that exciting video of water draining. How much water is in a small house with 1 bathroom. So what I was alluding to, but I don't think I actually said, was that you also want to drain your water lines, because you'll see how far this goes. And when you do drain them, you also want to drain them from a spigot, which is usually one of your lowest faucets out there. So usually one of your lowest water sources. So drain it from a spigot outside. That's why you drain it, and you'll see why. This is why we do that, because this is how much water it could be on your floors. And also, I should have given a warning that if you had to go to the bathroom or you're not near a bathroom, you probably shouldn't watch this video or listen to it at least. Thanks.